Are you a fan of link spam decks that OTK the shit out of your opponent and the 90s Third Wave Skull Revival? Well, do I have a deck profile for you guys? Let's roll that intro. What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Matt, Pig and Matt here. So, today I went to locals, and unfortunately I didn't really have a placement for this deck profile because I was 3-1 going into round 5. But the issue is I suddenly got the worst fucking migraine you had ever had in your entire life, and I really wasn't able to finish the tournament. So, because I had to leave early, I didn't really get a placement. But if I had managed to win my last round, then I probably would have gotten top 4 with this deck profile. Now, that aside, the reason I want to show you guys this deck profile is because I think it is probably maybe the best version of this deck that you can play right now. What's the deck in question? Well, obviously you read the title. It is my updated Scareclaw deck profile that I'm going to dub Ska-Claw. Because, you know, doing everything I can because I'm the Superman. You know, all that jazz. So, we're just going to breeze through the deck profile. I'll highlight what needs to be highlighted, but maybe if I have time and this isn't too long, I'll try to show you guys an idea, like a combo or something, like a test hand or whatever. But let's go with the bullshit, show you guys my Ska-Claw deck profile. Alright, Scareclaw. Kashtira, Adventure? Here's the build. So, Scareclaw doesn't change. You play 3 at level 4, and you still max out on all of the level 3s. The singular copy of Ice of Starfrost, 2 Monster Reborns, 2 field spells. I play the 1 Splash still, basically for a going first option, because on your turn 1 end board, this is usually really good. But if you're going second, I've been testing out the new Scareclaw Defang. It basically just makes it where your opponent can't imperm your link guys. And that's essentially all, really. You don't need to play it, but I'm going to keep testing it for a while, most likely. You also really don't need to max out on Baloney or Acro. I just do it to have as many starters as humanly possible. But if you're kind of curious at the Scareclaw engine, you can technically cut one of each of these guys. I usually side one out still, but for my builds most of the time I just want to maximize on all of my starters. So, now onto the supplementary parts of the deck. For Kashtiras, you play, oh hey look, another Scareclaw. This guy's really good. He can attack in defense mode, so he gets around the Link 3. And also he has a couple other neat interactions, because to summon him you just banish any Scareclaw card. So you can banish the spells and traps to summon him, which is really good. He's also searchable via your 2 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. This card's insane. If you can establish this on board, you know, full end board, he's a fantastic interrupt that'll eat a lot of stuff. Yeah, excellent card. I tried out 1 Unicorn with a singular copy of the field spell, Right Soth, whatever the hell it's called. Basically, he's just in here to search this. This can search this, or conversely, you can just Fenrir and search this. You could also not play this and just play multiples of this and some other cards if you don't want a full Scareclaw package. But at the very least, if you did invest in any of these, I highly suggest you invest in the Fenrirs, because this card is insane. Just absolutely nuts. Also, it doesn't conflict with the next engine that you're about to see at all, because you don't ever normal summon these guys ever. But yeah. And the last part of this mozzarella stick sounding band is your adventure package. You know, you're pretty standard. I tested a Legal Knight and sided him out almost every game, so you probably don't really need to play this card. But he is a neat extender and he has a cool effect. So, I just leave that up to player preference. You also probably don't need to play triple Rite of Armus here, but I did because I just wanted to see these. And then the one of each of your bricks. This one's not as bad as this one, because you could still kind of do stuff with this. And then, like, you can normal a guy, search this, and then still do stuff with all these. So yeah, it's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best to draw this. And I'll support the rest of the deck and just kind of fill out the last of the 42 cards. I played triple Ash Blossom, triple Tactical Talents. This card is absolutely fucking insane. In the Trap Trick matchup, I held on to it until they nibbed my whole board. Then I proceeded to just make another copy of the Link 3 because I hadn't used this effect yet, and I just proceeded to OTK the shit out of them. This card's fantastic. And my 41st and 42nd card were just these to kind of add a going second option. This to just stop most hand traps, and this because people are playing Trap Tricks, Labyrinth, other back row heavy decks. So I just had a singular main deck out. But if you wanted to play 40, you could cut these two, which is why they're the last two cards on the profile. And if there are any cards that you can move over to your side and put other cards like Imperm, Nibiru's of your own, all that, these are other cards that you can cut, which hopefully I highlighted enough within this deck profile for anybody just kind of curious. Alright, for the extra deck, most importantly, you really still need to max out on the Link 1 and the Link 3. Kashtira can eat your extra deck, so you want copies of these guys because it's very important. You will go through multiples of this, and you will likely go through multiples of this because a lot of decks have a really hard time out in this. I went against Gold Pride Punk, and this guy absolutely ruined his entire life. So yeah, this card is absolutely fantastic, and you need to max out on it and a little level 1 Goi. Last kind of the filler cards. Lingaribo in case you ever get Iblied. Phoenix, never made it. I did, however, make this neat card, because your level 3s are Earth, and if you're going to the Trap Trick matchup, you can make this, summon their Myramillo, and pop their back row. It's hilarious. Dark, because there's a lot of dark decks. Didn't really make this, but one of the options. It's kind of like these two are your generic ones that you think every extra deck should have, just in case. Kind of the same thing with Access Code. I did make him one game just to get damage on board, but he didn't really do much anything. Same thing with her. Never summoned her once. Never summoned this once, but you want this because it's an out. And then the last card in the extra deck was this, which this doesn't need to be here. The only reason it was there today was because somebody needed my copy of Baron de Fleur for another thing, so I didn't have a Baron on hand. So yeah, I was basically playing with 14 cards. But yeah, just imagine that this is Baron. Alright. Now on to my fairly awful side deck. Alright. This could be vastly improved. This was just for time. Might still keep it in, not sure. I randomly had Bestials in there. They're good because they're DD Crows and extenders, so you can use them to make your big guy. This is in case there's heavy Kashtiras. These could, in theory, be main decked because it's really, really good. And another really good card that could be main decked is Evenly Matched. The only reason I don't personally main deck either one of these is because generally, if I'm going second, I'd just rather try to OTK the shit out of the opponent than to wipe their board and establish kind of 2 Omni Negates. So yeah, there's the deck. Let me expand this camera out and I'll kind of show you guys an idea of how it plays. Alright, I think I've shuffled this to enough Real Big Fish and Goldfinger songs. So let's present it to the opponent for final cut. Get it cut. And see what we can do going first with a 5-card hand. Alright, alright. This is something. So, from here, going to go Pressure Planet and search for this neat guy, Fenrir. Because control no monsters, special to Fenrir. Use the Fenrir effect. Add myself a copy of Kashtira Scareclaw, because you did not draw a single level 3 in this opening hand. Alright, from here, let's water Enchantress. For the right, let's activate your Rite of Armistier. Get a token and a copy of Fateful Adventure. Alright, now from here, you can use the Fateful Adventure to add yourself a copy of Wandering Griffin Rider, and then proceed to discard one of your extra Scareclaw guys. Alright, now let's special the Griffin and then our deck so we don't draw the brick. Alright, now from here, can get rid of this guy to special summon the Scareclaw Kashtira, link it away into Lightheart effect for a copy of your permanent planet. And then from here, let's see. I think I'm going to summon the Reichardt and use his effect to get myself a copy of Arrival. And then I get to draw one card from that. So deck's cut, draw another Kashtira Fenrir. That's pretty cool. And then I'm going to activate my primitive planet. Search myself. Could do a level 3 or the Visa Starfrost. Which if we do the Visa, we could pop him, have the Visa synchro into Baron, which is pretty good. You can also link the Kashtira Fenrir away if you wanted to then try to see if you could have a Baron Wandering Griffin Rider. But I think in this case I'm going to add the level 3. The reason I think I'm going to go with this route is to save on extra hand resources for later since you're going first. Also, if I can get a level 3 in my graveyard, which doing the Astra there does, my Triheart here can then proceed to special summon this guy back to then net me yet another copy of the level 4 guy, who should be right here. Again, as follow-up for next turn. So they somehow managed to break through a face-down banish, all of their guys going into defense mode, and 2 Omni negates. Plus, if you wanted to, you could equip the Draco back to the token, so it takes 2 hits to kill this thing. That's a pretty formidable board if you ask me. So yeah, there's kind of a really good idea of what this deck can do going first. So there you have it, my updated Scareclaw Kashtira Adventure deck profile. It's probably the best version of straight Scareclaw you can play right now, until somebody comes up with some wild innovation, or if that new Visa Starfrost fusion guy happens to like find a way to be incorporated into the deck to give it just yet another boss monster and what have you. And yeah, If you guys like what you see, make sure to let me know down below. If you have any changes you would make, again, comment section down below. Anything you've been testing, whatever, you know, feel free to let me know. And yeah, this is Matt, Pig and Matt, signing out.